one of the things that my dad used to drive home, I've always been a talker. Like, I was talking before I could actually talk. Like, when I was like a little baby, everybody was like, oh, this one's gonna be a talker. Oh, I was so eager to talk. When my dad told me, he said, you have 2 ears, you have 1 mouth. That means that you listen twice as much as you talk. And I am a talker. I did major in communication because I believe that's part of what I'm here to do, to communicate. But I am an attentive listener as well. The other side of what my dad would always say is be an active listener, because you hear what people say and then you hear what people don't say. And I believe that if I haven't mastered the art of communication, that I'm very close to mastering the art of communication. Sometimes we can be so overzealous to want to prove our point that we miss the conversation in its entirety. And I know that our judicial system is very corrupt, but one thing I will say about a good judge is that they're going to ask a question and they're going to be listening attentively for the answer to that question. So the question was not if the person did what they are being accused of. The question is, what was the conversation that you had with that individual? Okay, you said that you and the individual discussed this, and this was this individual's response to this. We're not talking about, we'll get there, potentially. But right now, I'm asking you a very specific question. I need you to put your listening ears on, and I need you to be an active listener to what I'm actually asking you. Because if you make an answer or respond in a way that is not answering the question, I'm going to have to redirect you to the question. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you personally why I was not or was chosen. I asked you, what is the selection criteria? Please listen. And I have countless examples of the way that groupthink doesn't serve people. I think it's a wonderful thing to be a part of a community. Don't get me wrong. I think collaborating is awesome. Collaborating with artists, collaborating is awesome. But I see a lot of ways that groupthink does not serve people. Because when you are a part of a collective, and a lot of times people are doing the thinking for you, you are allowed to kind of take the back seat to thinking for yourself. So a part of your ability to intellectually navigate circumstances or situations, it's not as strong. It's not as strong because you have a team to do the thinking for you. And this is, as a boss, where you're going to come into a situation and you're going to say, I'm just using simply too much manpower for this whole thing. It's just way too many of you. And this is problematic. Why do I have this many people on payroll? Because we have certain segments of our budget that are designated for specific things. I have a segment for my budget for marketing. I have a segment of my budget for promotion. I have to keep an attorney on retainer, whatever. I have a budget. And I'm spending too much of my budget on manpower. It should not be this many of you. So then as a boss, I have to now do a little digging and find out who's the greatest asset, who's of most value to my company, who is the mastermind, who is the person that mostly does the thinking, who is the person that's the least intellectually lazy, and then I'm pretty much getting rid of everybody else. Most of everybody else. Because why are you here? Why is it taking so many of you? Why am I wasting money on manpower? Why are you incapable of answering a question that I just don't understand? I just don't understand. So, for me, I understand that thinking on your own, solitude, reclusiveness, being a soloist, has its disadvantages, but it has a lot of advantages as well. Because there's not any part of your mind that relies on other people to do the thinking for you. So you're able to cultivate your mind to the highest level. You don't outsource the brilliance. You don't outsource the genius. You are thinking on your own. When it comes to a lot of the things that I've come against, I moved to this condo. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to be able to have the time to cultivate my craft. I'm very blessed to be able to have the time to manifest the dreams that I've always wanted in my heart to do. I've always said I want to do music. I've always been an artist. I've always wanted to dance and choreograph and sing, write, and learn a couple instruments. And right now, literally, I don't want to get emotional about it. I feel like I'm literally living my dream right now, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my Creator, and I'm so grateful to the universe to allow me the ability to live my dream. This is my dream from my heart, literally. And I never knew that I would manifest this in such a brief period of time. I couldn't sing the way that I can sing now. I couldn't dance the way that I dance now. I couldn't write songs as rapidly as I write songs now. I could literally very easily write 5 to 10 songs in a day effortlessly. It just comes to me, these downloads. And the way that my mind works, it's like I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of being able to have time to, and it's just a shell. It's just aesthetics, but I am pleased with my shell. I am happy with my shell. It does require a high level of self-discipline to maintain as far as the things that I put in my body and what I do every single day to work out. It does require a high level of self-discipline, and I believe that the universe will adhere to what it is that you want to do if you're serious about it. And my life is a manifestation of my dreams. The condo that I live in. Number one, the relationship that I've cultivated with my Creator. That's my dream. To be in favor with my Creator, that's my dream. But if we want to talk about material things, the condo and the shell and then having the time to actually work on my gifts and work on my talent, I can't be thankful or grateful enough. But I understand. I was listening to Joel Osteen the day before yesterday. He said that if you can't take the persecution, then you can't take the blessings. And with the lifestyle that I lead, I understand that there are a lot of people that are very bothered by who I am and who I've become in such a brief period of time, no less. I have people that are part of their day-to-day ritual. It's like a daily thing of just talking about how different I was. And so I'm curious with those people also, like, when you talk about how different I was, how do you know if you've never met me? Because some of the people that are talking about how different I was, I've never actually even met or had like a full length conversation with, so that's kind of weird. Another question is, are you including the lies that you say on my name when you talk about that? When you talk about how different I was, are you including all the lies that you say on me? Is that rolled into the conversation? Talking about how different I was, all the lies that you say about me every day? But I take it persecution because I understand that it comes with the territory. I knew that whatever I was being prepared for, dealing with people lying on me was going to be having something that I was going to have to learn to endure. When I moved into the condo, I noticed that, I was deliberate about not actually inviting other bartenders. I'm reclusive in the sense I don't bring people here. Okay, my nephews, when they're in town, my niece, my family, can come. But like, I'm very reclusive in the sense I seldom bring people into the space that I live in deliberately. For safety and protection, number one. But two, I knew that if I was like at work and I said, yeah, come through to my place later on and have some cocktails at my place, that I knew the nature of human beings, that people do get jealous. Well, how are we working the same job and she lives here and things like that? And then they try to mess up what you got going on just because they feel some kind of way about it. So I deliberately didn't do that, but I did get a ride home one night, and that's when the rumors began. People, I guess, said that I was some sort of a prostitute. I'm the opposite of that. Very much the opposite of that. But evidently, from their perspective, with the skin that I'm in, I couldn't live here, have this lifestyle without selling my body. And there could have been a million different possibilities. I could have been an heiress. My father could own this place. My husband could be the owner. I mean, it could just be a lot of different possibilities. But they just created it out of nowhere. Just a lie about me, just a rumor about it, just created it out of thin air and ran with that. No proof, no evidence, nothing to substantiate those claims, just lies. And so I knew that persecution was something that, I just had to get used to, and understanding that I could not be angry about the things that I could not control. And that includes what people decided to say about me and the lies that they tried to say about me. I've never been an addict of a narcotic. And I've even heard people say, I know she's not, but let's just say she is. Just because they were so desperate to try to depict me in a way that was, not respectable. So I didn't have respect or dignity. But here's the thing. There are legal consequences to these things, that you can take legal action about defamation of character, because the intention is typically to prevent you from upward mobility. So defamation of character, somebody's over here running their mouth about you, saying all of these false rumors. Their intention is so you don't get hired at a job, or you don't get respect, or you don't have credibility. It could affect your popularity. It affects you in a certain way. That's the reason why they do it. It affects your revenue streams. It affects the way people see you. If you start a business, maybe people are not inclined to support your business because of your reputation. That's the whole reason that they do it, to damage you, usually economically, socially, but more important, economically. So there are consequences in court to damaging someone's professional reputation. If people can prove that the lies that you told about them, or slander that you told, the assassination of character that you told about them, has led them to become unemployed, not be able to get a job, things of that nature, they can sue you for damages. The lies that you told on my name, that made me not able to provide for my child, or not able to provide for myself, or not able to all of these things. That's a lawsuit. As a boss, or as a person who's a part of a company, you have to also understand that when you run your mouth, and this is the reason why it's so important to be in control of your emotions, when you run your mouth slandering another person or lying on another person or saying all of these things about another person, it's not just you. Now the company is at jeopardy. Now the company is at risk. Look, for me, my family can rely on me. The loved ones that have supported me can rely on me that when I reach, which I'm going to, and I'm going to say that the people that do say how different I was, keep talking, because most of it is lies, but I love hearing how different I was, because look how radically I can manifest. Look how radically I can evolve. Look how rapidly I can evolve. So in a matter of time, I'm going to evolve even more. My potential is limitless. I invest in me. I invest my time in me. I invest in my energy into me. I invest my attention into me because it's worth it. I'm worth the investment. If I can go from this to that in this amount of time, imagine where I'm going in that amount of time. It's limitless potential. But I say this to say that for me, the family that supports me and things like that, I will help them. I will help them. I will support them. But I'm not hiring people just because they're my family. Because now my liability is like, I have to vet you. And that's the thing. With the people that have lied on my name and slandered me, all you've done is shown your ass, in the sense that you have no integrity. Nobody would ever do business with you. I know I personally would never do business with somebody who lied to that extent. Because all you did was show your ass and show that you have no integrity. You're over here lying about a former coworker or an employee or whatever, and all of a sudden now the company is likely going to be held liable because you just couldn't tame your emotions or your jealousy or whatever it is that pushed you to spew your hatred out on another human being. Your lack of emotional control has now become a liability for the company that you represent. And so I have family, you know what I'm saying? And I have family that I would hire, and I have family that I would never hire. Because what I've realized is that when it comes to being a boss, you very much can water down the corporation or put the corporation in a liability. And people can be a liability to the corporation. When you rely too heavily on personality, who you like, who you don't like. For me, I don't have to necessarily like you to hire you. If you're the best fit for the job, your personality is not that. I can think that you're maybe haughty. I can think that you're boastful or show off. Your personality may even rub me the wrong way. Maybe I think you're a little egotistical or whatever. But as far as the top things that I'm looking for, it's not personality based necessarily. Especially depending on your role. If you're not dealing with customer service, if you're mostly in the back cranking numbers. I don't need my accountant to be customer service oriented. I need my accountant to be honest and have integrity. You don't have to be charming. You don't have to have a bubbly personality to do certain things. You do have to have integrity. And unfortunately, when you set things up like, oh, I'm going to hire the people that I like, or family or friends and things like that, now you're watering down the brand. Now you're watering down the company, because it's not necessarily the person that's best for the job. It's just the person that you like. And the person that you like may have some serious character defects. They may be a liar. They may be a thief. They may have no emotional control. They may have jealousy beyond words. Their jealousy for another individual is now putting the company at liability, where they might be getting sued for defamation of character. There's a lot of predicaments. And so for me, my experience with the persecution and the slander and all of these things in DC has just really made me a lot more cautious as far as the way that I move, and more committed to thinking independently and not relying on other people to do the thinking for me, because I've noticed that that's typically how people get screwed. Much love, y'all. Peace.